Hello, this is Gerald Johan van Waas. In this series of video I provide you with examples that show you how every word really has meaningful places of the letters, a meaningful order of the letters. They help you to describe the word which is intended to name in this way. And I'm still busy with the refinement of the method how to do so. So the most difficult words are with, for instance, with letters like the H, and so that's why I'm still working and give most attention upon the video demonstrations. And in the background I have this theory for it, which I will present you slightly different as before, because basically it is a structure. It's a structure of how our mind works. Our mind works with very simple principles of the, like I say, is the 1, 2, 3 principle. The 1, 2, 3 principle is also the principle that would be best to calculate everything, to make a balance between everything. That goes automatically. There is a kind of automated system in it, which not just works with yeses and nos, like I recognize this, or no, I don't recognize this, but also this third option, which puts it a little bit on delay. And this principle I will also explain here, and that's also how it works, also with the more difficult letters, because these last couple of letters that are from the third category, there are 3 categories, are really showing that principle. And I haven't explained it very well yet, but I will do that a bit better now. So we have 9 positions that say, okay, we have a focus somewhere. So we have a focus somewhere, we see the focus immediately, and that's very clear. That's of course a yes. We see what it is, and we can name these things with all of its directions, all of its positions, in 9 sorts of balanced out things. You can design them slightly different, not too different, but slightly different, as long as the structure is used. And that's why I also have sometimes slightly different results, while they all come down to the same thing. But you have these spatial positions first, these 9 positions. If this doesn't work, that means, okay, these positions, I don't have them now, so they moved. And how did they move? They are elsewhere, so you have to look them elsewhere, and you have to look for them during a certain time, after a certain time, after a certain change, and so you have to look for it, why it isn't there now, but maybe later, and how they are. It's a different way of thinking with directions. That's the second category, so you also have 9 letters for that, to see the directions. Where do you have to go to, and what is how do they balance out? Also 9 letters there. Last one is the framed context, is also when these directions are moved away from you. So what's wrong then with your thinking? You don't have a stable point, you don't have a direction, so you need to look for the context about how do I frame my things, and then you can derive them from that. And that's the third principle also. You leave it a bit open. There's no yes, there's no, and it's not at another point. It will be at another point at some time, only when the things are right in time and space. And that's the principle I'm going to explain a bit better today. Thanks to harbour, I will explain harbour. It's a letter which is there that starts, the H is from the third category, the R is from the third category, so I have some letters that will be about that delay of until I have it, that delay of what I'm focused upon until I have it. And the H I will take out of this system, so I have this. It is about framing our context. We have to frame our context, in which there are, it's at the second category, so it is, there are at this point 2 delays, let's say. So we have 1 delay in Q, V and G. the starting point delay. Then you have a delay in how things are forming themselves. So so I can also see them as two delays. So some variations how you can do that, but that's that's the thing that I'm going to follow now. So there are two question marks here, and at the end there are three question marks. So they all have to be filled in perfectly, or I don't have it. Three positions. The three positions. There's the starting point, the changes, and then the results. So we know it is about so what we will have, there will be two unknowns, so not known things which are there beforehand, until we have the known aspect. There are also three categories. So the second category, it will always be about changes, about time, about growth, about materialization, and so on. So the whole second level here is about changes and growth. So the H is in the middle. It will be about that growth process. So that's what we will end into. So that will be our result in it after the two unknowns. And the known thing will be in the result. The result will be contextual, that we know after knowing the right time and place that it will grow. We will be sure that it will be made possible in the right time and right place, that it can grow, that it can develop, that it can materialize. That is what H is expressing. It means, of course, that I will also recognize its time and when I recognize its time and space, that when I know these things, when I know where, when I know when, and that I have them, that I have these conditions, that I can frame them, I can have the frame that I know the conditions where and when the things are correct. The things can grow, the things can change, the things can materialize. That is what H is. So somewhere at a certain time means also this is the potential. It's a potential which will be there. It's a formula. So it is a formula about a potential of growth, actually, of progress, of change, of materialization. That's the first letter, H. It is vague, because the last couple of letters is always a contextual idea, and this context actually says something like, yes, it can perform, yes, it can grow, yes, it can progress, yes, there can be a time process. When the place is right and the time is right, it can start from there. So that's what it is. You have you can receive results from that moment somewhere at a certain time. The principle of delay, I can compare it to electricity circuits, for instance. If I have a circuit and I have two conditions that have to be met, or let's say two connection points. If you can have a circuit which is in such a way that you have when you connect to one of the circuits or to another circuit, that you don't have a closed circuit, but you have those two in between that connect the electricity, can connect to electricity further. You have three points that connect together, and you have the closed circuit. That's more or less the open principle, actually. So the electricity flows through as an openness, like the solution flows through it. We have an openness to the solution, but we don't have it yet. We first have to have all conditions. The conditions have to be met, two conditions, and then it will be automated to the next result. So you have a yes and no, and this in between is actually flow through. The solution will come as only when I can really close the circuit. It takes a while, but then you can find the closed circuit. That's the principle, actually. In fact, it's a slightly more complicated than a closed circuit, because the yes is like in you go for it and you follow it and you say, yes, it's now, that's what it works. For now, it's a temporal condition which is filling in and so on, and it will work for a certain while. When it's a no, you can still say, okay, I know what I can do now, and but I can complete myself, and it will be filled in. I fill it in later. It's quite realistic thing. The no is a bit more realistic already. So certain things will be later. So it can be done later, and it can be completed later to be filled in a way. And it will fill itself in thanks to no. It will know what to do and what it can't do. The last condition is the openness. So there you will have actually, that it's not yes and it's not no. You don't know where you can choose something. You don't know what you're missing. But the conditions themselves, they are kept open in such a way that they look for the conditions. They look for the conditions to make it work, and they will complete itself after a while, and then it will find the yeses and the nos together. It will complete itself, and because it will look for its conditions. So that's actually a little bit the third part. So the closed circuit happens when you have all these conditions, the yeses and nos that are needed and that you are available, and that makes up a mix so that it can have that closed circuit. So also basically the three levels of focuses in letters, they have 9 letters or 9 positions of the yes, that are the positions in space. They are the certainties, that's what we use now, but it's contemporary because they will be used only for a certain while. If that doesn't work, we don't find them immediately, we'll have to find them at another place. So at another place means also at another time, and we are certain there is a certain no available there. There's also a certainty of no as well. So the yes and no are very clear. Yes, I do that now, at this moment, here, at this place. The no is like, I don't have it at this place, but I have it at some time later, at some other time. So it's not a certainty that it will come at a certain time, but we can define it because there is a certain no, and we follow the no. If we don't know the place, if we don't know that there is another time, it will be a completely uncertainty principle, and that will look actually automatically further for a solution in the wrong run, and then it will find its right place and its right time if you formulate that well, if you find that structure, if you find that frame in which it can fit. Okay, maybe not the easiest philosophy, but when you have the right letters and find them how they work, it will be even more clear how they work. It's automated with the H. You have an openness to have to find the formula. You have the placement that you understand. You have the timing that you understand. And when you have, that's now a general principle, when you have the place and timing, you have you have it.